Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I probably got to this way later than I should have. And if I had gotten to this sooner, I'll just say it right now, it would have made my best of 2023. Ah! We just died! Ah! The Iron Claw. The Iron Claw is a 2023 film that was made by A24, which I have to mention because I've been very critical of A24. Sure, there are some movies by them that I do enjoy, that I do love, and that I do appreciate how different they're willing to go with some of those movies. But then there are other films that go too different, right? Or at least for me, are too out there. But I love that they tackled the story. I love that they also handled it with the care that they did. Wrestling stories, obviously, I'm a big wrestling fan. I have been for most of my life. And so seeing them treat this in such a serious and straightforward manner, it's written and directed by Sean Durkin. And first, I keep saying first actor I want to mention is Holt McConnelly, who played Fritz von Erich, the father, the patriarch. And I've seen this actor. He's a character actor. He's been in like 100 things. But to see him take such a role that is very layered in the sense that he's clearly all about wrestling and into this wrestling thing, but at the very least at the beginning and throughout it, but definitely at the beginning, he wants to take care of his family. He's about taking care of his wife and kids, and that's really what he's doing all of this for. And throughout the film, you see these actions or the way that he handles certain situations where you think, man, maybe he just shows love to his sons in such a different way that I'm having trouble understanding. And then late in the movie, it's almost like, fuck this dude. No, he's just kind of a dickhead father. Zac Efron plays Kevin Von Erich, and again, me being a wrestling fan, I was aware of the Von Erich story, the Von Erich curse, as it is called even in here. But as much as I thought I knew, and I knew a decent amount, there was points in this movie where I was like, okay, this is probably where that's going to happen. There are several other things, though, that I didn't know. And I have heard some people say that maybe certain timeline of events didn't happen as the movie says. Like maybe they switched stuff around or maybe they just kind of shortened stuff out. They definitely took out a couple of stuff as far as real life events. But as straightforward as they wanted to tell it, I was blown away. I was blown away by Zac Efron playing Kevin Von Erich and just how good he was. Man, did this dude get big and jacked. I could only hope to ever be in that type of shape. It's never going to happen, but still, he makes it look easy. He makes it look wild. Zac Efron committed. I also like that he played this a lot more shy, a lot more awkward. Harrison Dickinson plays David Von Erich, probably one of the Von Erich sons that I didn't know a lot about, just as far as kind of being his father's hand-picked, chosen person to be at the top of the family business. Sure, the father even says at one point that he has a list of which sons are his favorite, which is wild. But there's so many times when Zac Efron either shows that he should be at that level, is clearly ready for that spot, but maybe because he can't talk, like in front of the crowd. He can't do an interview or a promo without stammering. Somebody who probably stole the show. Jeremy Allen White plays Kerry Von Erich. And Kerry Von Erich's probably the one that I knew the most as far as my wrestling history because he had also been in the WWF, but it's wild to see how he went from almost trying out for the Olympics and how that didn't work out. Then obviously being welcomed in with the red carpet by his father into the wrestling business. And then all of these things, again, the curse, you can argue whether or not you believe in curses or whether or not such things like that out there exist, bad luck and whatnot, but I don't know how else you describe things that has happened to this family, things that do happen to these set characters at specific points in their lives. Stanley Simmons plays Mike Von Erich, and he's definitely the one that I knew the least about, and it was sad to see a lot of these things happening to each and every member of the family, each and every character. Lily James, I want to mention really quick, as Pam. She would go on to be Kevin Von Erich's wife, and she was great. You know, when she comes in, she just takes charge, and she knows what she wants, and she is all about getting with Zac Efron. Some of the wrestlers that I knew from real life, I mean, I wasn't alive when all this happened, but I have gone back and watched a lot of this stuff. So seeing them have other actors play people like Bruiser Brody, Harley Race, who was decent, Ric Flair, the guy that they brought in to play Ric Flair, I don't envy that actor whatsoever. I don't envy anybody who has to come in and play a role and play a character like a Ric Flair. That can't be easy. I'm not going to pretend like that's something that can be easily replicated, easily represented in a way that would probably make people happy. I had heard bad things, very bad things about the performance going into the film. So watching it, I thought, it's not perfect, it's not even great, but it's not as bad as I initially thought it was going to be. And I also want to say that even though this might be one of the most overplayed songs in a movie, a lot of movies, especially ones that take place in the 70s and 80s, use this song a lot. But Don't Fear the Ripper might be one of the coolest fucking songs to put into your movie. I enjoyed the film, obviously, if you couldn't tell. I think the fact that I'm a wrestling fan added some of my enjoyment into it, because I already knew some of this stuff, and I think it did a good job of paying respect to wrestling and not sort of shitting on it or making fun of it in any way. But I also feel like they did a good job of, if you're not a wrestling fan, you will get behind the family, you will get behind their dynamic, their relationships, and the tragedy that comes into that, with wrestling just being something that they're in and what they do. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too saw the Iron Claw. What did you think of it? Did you like it as well? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.